Hello everyone, my name is Siddharth Pilli. I'm the Asia Senior Data Scientist. I'm a 15-year-old and I'm also a speaker. I have addressed over many schools, universities, colleges across India, and I'm also spreading my knowledge by giving online classes on AI, ML, and Python as well. I'm currently working as a data scientist at Infinity Learn, an edtech company by Sri Chaitanya, which helps students on achieving their dreams by cracking competitive exams like NEET and JEE. I'm also currently working as a freelancer where I provide services on bots and AI solutions to US stocks and finance advisory company called Right Choice USA. Today, I'm mainly interested on talking about of course, today is the World Kindness Day, this November 19, 2022, organized by a wonderful foundation called Touch a Life Foundation, Make a Difference. And I've been given this great opportunity to express my opinions on one of the topics that are essential to humanity right now. um, I wanted to choose on air pollution. I mean, mainly pollution as general, to be honest, but air pollution specifically. The reason is, I believe the whole pollution, global warming, and greenhouse gases, all this concept in a whole, as a general, they play a huge role for us in the coming future. Because if you really think about it, this pollution which we are bringing upon on the earth is going to be survived in the consecutive next few years by the next generation, then the next generation. So if we see this cycle here, what we're creating now is probably, I mean, not probably, it's going to be, I'm pretty sure it would be, uh, you know, uh, it will be affecting the next few generations out there. And I just wanted, I know there's a lot of awareness being raised in the concept of air pollution as well, but I really wanted to take my take on it mainly by using data science, because I'm a huge data scientist now, AI machine learning enthusiast. So I want to take on my take on what generally I think about air pollution, how uh, the effects of air pollution really, but basically analyzing the data of air pollution in India and then comparing it to understanding how far have we come and how dangerous India as a whole, the concept of air pollution has become. So this is really what I wanted to concentrate on. So in general, air pollution, I think we already know air pollution is, but to be honest, air pollution is basically contamination of air due to the present or substance in the atmosphere that are harmful to the health of humans and other living beings. Normally, these tend to cause damage to climate and damage to our human lives as well. And if you think about how air pollution is being occurred right now, there are different types of air pollutants like gases, particulates, biological molecules, and all. Few examples where I think you already know where we see air pollution as a whole in our daily life, but one would be maybe driving cars where we're releasing our CO2 emissions, or bursting crackers, and construction work, coal mines. There are many reasons, or even industrial work, that add upon the different pollutants being risen from air pollution. And right now, what my research or what I really wanted to do was there was the research which I'm doing right now. I'm mainly inclined towards understanding how climate change is being taken over right now. And like I said, I wanted to give my take on trying to understand how air pollution, how climate change really works. So I have taken some data. So I've got this data from, basically this data is released by the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Central Pollution Control Board of India under the National Data Sharing and Accessibility Policy (NDSAP). So in this data, I took few. Normally, this data contains many features. Basically, these different types of columns which I'll be using on later to create these sort of plots and everything to analyze the data better. But most of the data features which I've taken are just useful to represent the most important parts. So one being state, because again India is a huge diverse country, and uh, picking out localities and cities and then trying to understand the sort of emission levels then seemed right. So I wanted to keep it region based, and I basically took the data which is measured by the states. And in every sort of data which in the data which I'm working with, there are four types of emissions level which you can say. One being SO2. So in the SO2, we normally have the amount of sulfur dioxide which is measured, and NO2. In NO2, we have the amount of nitrogen dioxide which is measured, and the last two are basically coming under the same concept, particulate matter. Most people call this particulate as well. Basically, very tiny objects and very sort of tiny liquids being released to the environment. And these tiny liquids and objects can be very harmful to either to us as human beings or to even animals as well. But these are the features which I'm working towards to create this analysis on air pollution right now. Sulfur dioxide is a gas. It is one of the major pollutants present in the air. It is colorless and has a nasty sharp smell. It combines effortlessly with other chemicals to form harmful substances like sulfuric acid and sulfurous acid, etc. Sulfur dioxide affects human health when it's inhaled. It irritates the nose, throat, and airways to cause coughing, wheezing, and shortness of breath or a tight feeling around the chest. Those most at risk of developing problems if they're exposed to sulfur dioxide are people mostly with asthma or similar lung and breathing conditions. And also the concentration of sulfur dioxide in the atmosphere can influence the habitat suitability for the plant communities as well as animal life. And inhaling sulfur dioxide is associated with increased respiratory systems, disease, and difficulty in breathing and premature death. And sulfuric acid also has compounds which can cause acid rain as well. Now coming to something like NO2. Now NO2 or nitrogen dioxide is a reddish brown gas with a pungent acidic odor. This can cause bronchoconstriction, inflammation, reduced immune response, and may have effects on the heart. And the direct exposure to NO2 on skin can cause irritation and burns. Now, the following I'm going to say will just give you a rough idea to how deadly or harmful nitrogen dioxide's impact on health is. Now, 10 to 20 ppm can cause a mild irritation on the nose and the throat. 25 to 50 ppm can cause edema leading to bronchitis and pneumonia. And levels above 100 ppm can cause death due to asphyxiation from fluid in the lungs. And the high levels of NO2 can harm vegetation, including leaf damage, reduced growth, and it can make vegetation more susceptible to disease and frost damage. Longer exposures to elevated concentrations of NO2 may contribute to development of asthma, and we have already seen that progress happen right now. And it's also going to potentially increase the susceptibility to respiratory infections. And from what I read, I guess it just gives you a very good understanding to how harmful and deadly NO2 can actually harm us. Not only the human life, but the vegetation and the animal life as well, which is around us right now. And particulates. Now, particulates finally, these are also known as atmospheric aerosol particles, or PM, like particulate matter, or SPM, suspended particulate matter. Now, these particulates, what you can call them, these are like microscopic solid or liquid matter which are being suspended in the atmosphere. The particulates are the deadliest form of air pollution due to their ability to penetrate deep into the lungs and the bloodstreams unfiltered, causing permanent DNA mutations, heart attacks, respiratory diseases, and premature deaths. The worldwide exposure to PM, again, PM basically means particulate matter, 2.5 contributed to 4.5 million deaths from heart disease and stroke, lung cancer, chronic lung disease, and respiratory infections in 2016. From the above figure, we can see that SO2 level is the highest in Uttarakhand and lowest in Chandigarh. Ashish Sheetal, the General Secretary of Yugantar Bharat, an NGO working in environment sector, said that the most of the emission basically comes from coal mines, vehicle emissions, and from industrial emissions as well. Now, this was really interesting for me because in the actual the graph there, so I seen Uttarakhand in the highest and Chandigarh in the lowest, and also I seen all the sort of more environment friendly places which I'd like to call like Chandigarh, Kerala. These all are situated well below in recommended SO2 levels, while something like Uttarakhand is highest in SO2 levels. With this, we can come to a sort of a conclusion on SO2 levels saying that these tend to mainly occur mainly because of places, basically things like uh, where more industries, vehicles are being taken up, and that's why I think this makes a good explanation why something like Uttarakhand is having one of the highest SO2 levels, highest SO2 levels in this graph, because uh, we can make a good assumption that Uttarakhand is a very busy city consisting of many vehicles, many peoples as well. There will be many coal mines, vehicle emissions, and these all might actually add up to the reasoning of why Uttarakhand is the highest right now for SO2 levels. In this figure, it is clear that from this figure that West Bengal has the maximum level of the maximum level of NO2, whereas something like Nagaland, again, these are sort of cities or places I like to refer as peaceful cities because they're less situated along with things like cars, industries, and more aligned towards nature. And Delhi right now, the capital of India, of course, is ranked in a second, followed by Jharkhand. Now, it's not that surprising to see Delhi being ranked second, followed by Jharkhand. Mainly because Delhi hit the headlines a couple of times over the past few years regarding air pollution and specifically NO2 concentrations. Like motor vehicle emissions are one of the causes of poor air quality. Now, these other causes would include wood burning fires, cow dung cake, combustion, fires on agricultural land, exhaust from diesel generators, dust from construction sites, burning garbage, and illegal industrial activities in Delhi. And these are just few reasons which are listed out. What makes what makes Delhi to be in such a high position when it comes to NO2 levels? From the above plot, we can see that Delhi has the highest concentration of RSPM, which again is not surprising as it can be read from any news article related to pollution in India that over the past few years, Delhi has been an important target when it comes to air pollution. From the above plot, we can also see that Uttar Pradesh is not far away from Delhi in terms of RSPM. Being the most populated state in the country, UP's atmosphere is not safe to breathe. As we have just made a comparison on how equivalent the RSPM levels between something like Uttar Pradesh and Delhi is, there has been a news article which has been created, which basically explains how bad sort of the RSPM levels have been grown and how correlate is it to something like Delhi. Now in 1997, as the code rate as the news article reads, an air quality monitoring station in Lucknow, the capital of Uttar Pradesh, recorded the maximum level of suspended particulate matter (SPM) at 2,339 micrograms per cubic meter GCOM, more than 11 times the permissible limit for residential areas and 4 times the limit for industrial areas. This is as high, the maximum was ever recorded in Delhi for 2,340 grams scum in sorry 230 sorry 2,340 grams slash come basically meaning the SPM matter. Now, with this, we can understand the correlation between what Delhi has and Uttar Pradesh has in terms of this correlation between how how the RSMP levels or the RSPM levels or the SPM levels are being grown, and we cannot come to the sort of conclusion saying that this levels of NO2, SO2 or RSPM, SPM levels will not grow in the future. There is this very certain possibility that these levels will grow. So what should we do at that point of time? Now, I can say doing things like, trying to use cars less often, trying to regulate industries and everything. That can save our earth and make it better. Though it's true, I also believe in one thing that relying on people to change their habits is a hard way to take on. And I mostly believe in innovations, where right now innovations like cars, industries, etc. are the problem to what created air pollution. But the solution to air, so that the whole solution to concepts like air pollution is also going to be dependent on innovations. So I believe that if innovation is a problem, innovation can be the fix as well. Thank you.